the parent presentation, we have Mr. Pruitt, Kyle's dad, and he's going to come talk to us about what he does. So make sure that you are looking at the speaker, you're being a very attentive audience. And let's go ahead and welcome Mr. Pruitt.
Thank you. Good morning. Let me get set up here. You guys see that? Yeah? I'm presenting with my phone today. What do you think about that? Is that pretty cool? Yeah, well, it took a little while to get it to work. All right, we good? We ready to go? Ready to roll? All right, well, I'm here for Parent Teacher Day. My name's Dominic Pruitt. That's how you spell my name. And then I'm Kyle's dad, okay? I'm going to talk to you about my career and kind of what I do and then what it took to get to where I do, what I do. All right? All right, so if any of you have ever done a presentation, you usually want to tell your audience kind of what's going to be coming. Most important thing is so they know that it's going to end. All right, so I'm going to take you through, who I am, where I've worked, what I've done, and then what work do I do now. And then I usually have an question and answer at the end, but I think what I might do this time is we'll do question and answer after every slide. And is there a hard time you got to stop?
Not really.
No? Okay.
Just before lunch.
Yeah, because I know some people like have the question when they see the slide and then they forget it by the time slide's over. So, all right. All right. So who am I? I grew up in New Mexico in the Laguna Pueblo Reservation, which is about 50 miles west of Albuquerque. I went to elementary school there. I went to middle school here in Albuquerque, and I went to high school in Santa Fe. Okay. After high school, I went to college in Dallas, Texas. Okay. When I was in Dallas, Texas, I received an electrical engineering degree. Okay. I went off to study about math and science and how to apply math and science to problems that we see every day. I went to work, and during work I was moved to Tucson, Arizona, where I got my business degree. Okay? So I actually got my graduate degree in business while I was working. Any questions? No questions? If you guys ever head out to Laguna, you'll see a white church on top of the hill right by the highway, Interstate 40. So that's where I grew up. All right, where have I worked? Well, pretty much I've worked at one place the whole time. Okay? I've worked at IBM, which stands for International Business Machines, for nearly 25 years now, which is a really long time. I started when I was in college. So I was going to school and I was working at the same time. And then when I finished college, IBM offered me a job to work full time. Okay? Here's the logo of the company. Here's another logo of the company. Another logo, creative logo. IBM's been around for over 100 years. Pretty long time. It's a really neat company to work for. They were one of the first companies to put women to work. They were one of the first companies to not discriminate based on skin color, age. But I've worked for a long time. Any questions? Yeah, we got a question here.
Why did you choose to do this job?
So the question is why did I choose to do this job? Okay, so there's a couple reasons why I chose to do this job with this company. Number one, when I was in middle school, and you guys have computers here, right? Yeah, you guys got some computers here. Well, when I was in middle school, computers started first coming out, okay? They were big. They weren't portable like that. They were really big. And the computer that in middle school that I, had a chance to use had a keyboard and a computer, but there was no wire in between it, okay? That was a wireless keyboard. I thought back in, this was in probably 86, a long time ago. But I thought that was pretty cool that you could type on a keyboard and it would transmit the information wirelessly to the computer. And I noticed, if you look on that computer, you might see who made it, right? I don't know who makes those computers. But the computer that I was on was made by IBM. So early on, I was impressed with a product. Okay? I remembered that as I went through school and I went to college and I had the opportunity to work for a company that made that product. And so that was the very first thing that, I thought about when working for a company when I got into college. The second thing is it's a very big company. Right now there's around 400,000 employees. In a big company, you have the opportunity to move around and do different things. Okay, and I'll tell you about that. Okay, next question.
What does IBM make?
Okay, the question is, what does IBM make? IBM has made computers, hardware, software. They also have services to help businesses run better. It also has financing, so be able to, like go into a bank and getting money to buy things. So there's different parts of the company that does different things. So it's very big and it has different lines of business. Thanks for the question. Yeah. Any other questions before I move on? All right. You have any questions?
Not yet.
Not yet? All righty. So what work has Dominic done? I moved to Raleigh, North Carolina, not long after graduating college, and I had the opportunity to design hardware and software for computers. Now this was back in 1995, long before probably all of you were born. But you remember the question you asked me about, the computer and the wireless keyboard? Well, I had a chance to work in the part of the company that actually made that. Okay? This is a tower. It had a CD-ROM and floppy drive right there, speaker. I don't know if any of you have opened up the inside of a computer, taken a look at what's inside and what makes it work. Yeah, you have? Well, that's kind of cool. If you're interested, it's, you can learn about it. There's nothing keeping you from learning about it. And then not long after, we started to produce laptops. Laptops are everywhere now. You don't see very many of the large boxes except in server rooms and in businesses, but how many here have a laptop? Whoa, look at all those hands go up. Okay. I worked at a time where all we had were desktops and laptops. We didn't have phones, we didn't have tablets, okay? So I helped design computer hardware and software. So the hardware is actually the pieces that make up the computer. The software is the intelligence that goes into the hardware to make it work. Okay? All right. Any questions? No questions? All right. Next slide. What work has Dominic done? So the next thing, after doing computers for a while, is I moved to Tucson, Arizona, and there I took a different job. So I stopped working on personal computers, laptops, desktop machines, and I started working on storage. Okay? How many of you understand what storage is? Yeah? Real quick, what is storage?
Like how much space you have on it?
That's right. It allows you to store your information, files. If you guys play with any of the applications to create a presentation like this, it has to be stored somewhere, right? Well, this is usually what your data ends up on. It's either a hard drive or a solid state drive, okay? These, many of them are put together and put into a big box and then connected to the world, okay? And just so you have some idea how big the box is, I have a couple friends I knew in the picture here. That's about how tall it is. So we're talking about a box about this high, that wide, really loud because there's a lot of fans trying to cool it off. But inside, there's computers. There's computers inside this, and then there's wires that connect those computers to all the little storage elements. Part of what we do as an engineer also is to help explain the product to people that buy it, okay? And so usually we'll tell them about different components. So you'll see the back of the machine here, you can pull out, a piece of it to replace it if it went bad, okay? So I started working, developing storage products, basically where you store your data. Any questions? Yeah, question.
So wait, did anyone who owned a computer have one of those in their house or something?
So the question was, does anybody who own a computer own one of these in their house? Okay, so one of these being so big, since this product is called a Disk Storage 8000. So about this wide, about 3 feet, 2.5 feet, 3 feet wide, probably, 7 feet tall. Very heavy, very heavy. So, thousands of pounds. The reason they're heavy is because of these. You have so many of them. The discs. You probably won't want to have one of these in your house because, one, it's too hard to get into the house, and number two, it'd be too loud. These generate a lot of noise. Got a question?
How much does one of those cost?
Okay, so how much does one of these boxes cost? This is the high-end product that IBM produces for storage. And last I knew, these were about $1 million a piece. Okay? Pretty expensive. But for that, you get redundancy. So if a drive fails, you don't lose your data. You have connectivity redundancy, so you can get to it, right? How many of you guys have email? Okay. Most all of you have email, right? Are there ever times you can't get to your email, right?
Yeah.
Right? Are there times you can't get to your email? Okay. Well, that's probably because something wasn't available or something failed, and there was not redundancy so that you can get your email through another way. Part of the product is to provide service, uptime service, that kind of thing. Any other questions? Yeah, go ahead.
So who would own one of those?
Okay, the question is who would own one of these, and it would be businesses. All right, you guys know about banks, right? You guys have seen banks. They have information about all their customers. They usually they'll have a copy in the bank, but then they'll have a copy of the information in another location. So they have 2 copies of the data. So for some reason somebody loses information, they can recover it from somewhere else. So big companies, insurance companies, banks, governments. So anybody who wants to make sure that when I put a piece of data on here, I don't lose it. Any other questions? All right. So what have I done so far? Personal computers, right? And I've done storage. Well, during that time, I had a couple ideas that nobody ever thought of. Okay? One of the things about being an engineer is you can protect your ideas. All right? And the reason you want to protect your idea is so that you can actually create a product or a service and sell it and not have competition. So two of the ideas that I had back when I was working in computers and in storage, I was able to patent. So we take that idea and we go tell the United States government, I want to protect this idea. I want to be able to market a product or service, and the government will take a look at your idea and say, okay, well, has there anybody else ever come up with this idea before? And so they'll go through the research and figuring out, is it in any magazine or website or published information? And if your idea has never been talked about in the public domain, then the United States government will grant you a patent to protect your idea so that you can take that and provide a product or service without competition for 17 years. Okay? I managed to get through the whole patent process and produce 2 patents, both based on software. An idea on how to connect to remote systems, and another idea to keep from duplicating information. So So there's two things that I'm pretty proud of actually, getting a patent granted on some ideas that I have. There's some people that have a whole bunch more patents than I do. They have the opportunity to think about new things that other people haven't thought of. For example, you guys know that the phones have global positioning in them, right? They can tell you where you are. You can see a map and see where you are. All right? Somebody thought up of a really smart idea of saying, okay, well, if two people are meeting at a restaurant, we can keep track of each other, their position, and we can estimate the time on when they both will get there. That wasn't available, long ago because there was no global positioning within these phones and iPads and iPods and tablets. So as new things come about, new ideas will be generated. And that's innovation. You take the existing things that are out there today, you improve upon them, and you can make a product or service. Any questions on? No? Okay, got a question.
So what were the things for?
So the question is what were the patents for? This one in particular was for, so today we have the internet. Before we had the internet, we had to connect computers through phone lines, through the telephone line. Okay? So we had a network connecting to another network through a telephone line. Well, this patent was an idea to look at the behavior of what happened inside one network and predict so that we could make the connection before it was needed to another network and people could get to information in different places. That's what this idea was. Okay? This idea, we had an environment where, kind of like you guys, you're creating a whole bunch of files and you're storing them all in one place, okay? If you copy your file and then save it, it's the same information. So that from the storage perspective, I look at the files that are coming in and I say, I don't need to save that one because I've already saved it. And so I'm saving space, saving digital file space. So that's what these two ideas are. So, any other questions? All right, so what does Dominic do today? What work does Dominic do now? I'm in sales. So I moved from product development, that's what I was doing. I was an engineer in product development, and I moved into sales, okay? We also moved to Rio Rancho about the same time, okay? I moved because, we had kids like Kyle and his brother and sister, and we wanted them to be near Laguna Pueblo and Window Rock, Arizona. So I moved into sales primarily for family reasons. Now I'm called a client technical specialist. I'm no longer really an engineer. Client technical specialist. I focus on storage software. Okay? I travel and teach to help progress opportunities to solve customer problems. So I go and I talk to customers about what products do. And then they tell me, oh, well, I'm trying to replicate my data from this location to this location, and I want to do it as fast as possible, but I don't want to pay anything for it. Those are the kind of questions that I get. But really the intent is to solve customer problems, right? And we try and solve a problem, but we use it using technology and innovation and products. So I also make YouTube videos. How many of you have watched YouTube? Yeah, it's pretty popular. What do you guys watch on YouTube, right? Minecraft? I don't know what else. Call of Duty? Wow, okay.
It's my favorite thing.
That's your favorite thing. Roblox, probably. You see Roblox videos. Music videos, that's another pretty cool one. Yeah. Well, I make YouTube videos also, but I show the products. I show the products that I do. I'll have a video, I'll be able to show you an application, kind of like when you're in front of the laptop there. When you make your presentation, you open the application, and then you type in stuff to make your presentation. Well, you can record all that, and you can record the audio. If you guys noticed, I have a microphone on today. Okay? I'm recording my audio. And what I'll do later is I'll take that audio and I'll sync it up with the slides here to make a video so that, I don't know if there's anybody absent, but if there's two people absent today. When I make the video and I can provide it to your teacher, they can watch that video and hear what I had to say without you being here, right? Or if the other Montessori classes wanted to hear what I had to say, they could learn also without me being here. Okay? Pretty interesting concept. You guys are learning it. It's a new way of learning called time-shifted learning. I have people, around the world, and you probably know this because you watch YouTube. When I put content out on the internet through YouTube, I get to see who uses it. There's people in Asia, Australia, Europe, South America, and it's really interesting to see the ability to connect to resources and learn. I mean, you guys, know all about YouTube, and you learn about Call of Duty and songs and whatever else. I use it in my job to help people learn. Also, it's an indirect way of selling. If they learn about my product, they become very familiar with it, they become comfortable. They say, this thing solves my problem. I may need to go talk to Dominic to figure out, how do I put this in my environment? And I talk to them and I do that. And then they buy it. They buy that $1 million box. Okay? And that's how the company earns money. All right? Any questions on this? Yeah, question.
How long have you been doing?
So the question is, how long have I been doing YouTube?
Yeah.
Probably for the last 8 years. 8 years, probably. So, any other questions? All right, we're just about wrapping up here. All right, so here's a couple of the products that I currently work on. I'm considered a subject matter expert. Okay, I know about these products and the software that runs on them very good, very detailed. I spent a lot of time with this, understanding how they work and how they interface. And so people come to me because I have deep knowledge in how these products work. Any questions? All right, so where has work taken me? Here's Albuquerque. Well, you can't really see the spelling, but here's Albuquerque. Can anybody see where the furthest place I've traveled? Oh boy, we got a couple hands. I'll go ahead and go with you. Yeah, go ahead. Okay, yeah, you see Australia over here. That's Sydney, Australia. And then we have Bangkok, we have Kuala Lumpur, and we have Singapore. So it's one of those areas that's the furthest I've traveled. I went there to teach some salespeople in those countries. So, thanks. Question?
It also looks like you've been also very far Canada.
Whoa, I went up to Canada, right. I went to 2 places in Canada so far. I've been to Calgary, and I've been to Toronto. So there's 2 places in Canada so far. Any other questions? You want to know where the most favorite place I've traveled so far?
Yeah.
Yes. It's right down here. Where is this? No, it's not Cuba. Not yet.
It's China.
You can't read it on the presentation, but it's a United States territory.
Hawaii.
It's not Hawaii.
Hawaii.
It's not Kauai. Hawaii's a state. I'm talking about a territory. Have you guys gotten into geography and all that? Yeah. Okay. This is a question for you guys. Nope, it's not the Bahamas, but you're close. I heard it once.
Bermuda Triangle.
Puerto Rico. Puerto Rico is a United States territory. It's not a state. And you guys can travel there. You don't have to, no passport required or anything like that. But that probably is the best place I've traveled so far. We actually conducted some sales education at resort, a hotel resort. So it was pretty nice. Any other questions on where I've traveled? This kind of wraps up the presentation. So, any other questions? Any other overall questions? Yeah, what do you think about my career? Product development, sales, I get to travel. Any questions? Go ahead.
Where have you traveled most recently?
So the question was, where have I traveled most recently? And I was in Dallas 2 weeks ago. So, and I'm coming up to a lot of travel. So I'll be traveling to Miami, the Washington, D.C. area. I'll be traveling to Boston, upstate New York and Albany. So I already know halfway through the year where I'm going to be going. So, all right. Well, thank you. I hope you learned something about my career and what I do. And if you have any questions, you can ask me, or Kyle knows how to get a hold of me, and I can come back and talk if you guys want that too. So, all right. Thank you.
Thank you.